Hello everyone and welcome to my August TBR reading vlog. Just like the past several months, summer is absolutely insanely crazy. I wasn't expecting my August to be equally so, but it definitely has been. I have gone on trips, I come home for like 2 or 3 days, I go back on another trip, I come home for like a day. It is currently August 19th and I've been home for about 24 hours now and I am leaving in about 2 hours. So we are going to be doing a little bit of my August TBR as I am traveling on this next trip. I am going to France for a fantasy photography retreat and I am beyond excited for it. I am hoping that I can vlog the whole time, so hopefully that is a video coming to you soon. But we are going to be doing a little bit of reading on this trip and then I should get home, keyword should, I should get home around the 29th of August, which means I have however much reading I can get done while I'm in France, and then the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st to try to finish out my August TBR. I've already picked out the books I want to read. I know for a fact for my physical TBR book, I will be reading The Night in the Moth by Rachel Gillig because this is the book that my fantasy photography retreat decided to read together and I have not started it yet. I really did not want to bring it with me on this trip, but at this point, I have no choice. This is going to be my airplane read. So this is going to be the physical TBR book that I will be checking off. I do not have a choice. So I will hopefully be vlogging that on my way to the retreat and hopefully I finish it before I get there. The other books that I have, I'm bringing my Kindle, so I'm going to be able to read my Estonia read. I already have that uploaded onto my Kindle, and I may be able to read one of my International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples books, as that is also on my Kindle. But otherwise, the Intersectionality Awareness Month books, my International Day of the World's Indigenous Peoples books, my Priority TBR, my continuous series are in this house. So I may be able to listen to a continuous series. That might be something I'd be able to do on this trip, but otherwise I'm going to be doing the rest of those when I get back in those 3 days when I'm tired and exhausted from my trip. But you know what? That is just the way that this summer is going. September, I know is going to be better. I know it's going to be better. I have a lot more dedicated at home time than I have literally all summer. So the first book we'll be reading in this vlog is The Night in the Moth. I am absurdly excited for this book. I got the really pretty Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. It is absolutely stunning. I've heard nothing but good things, except from like maybe 2 people that I follow, but I really loved her One Dark Window duology, so I have really high hopes for this book. Okay, it's actually 10 o'clock at night now, but I do have reading updates. So first of all, I did end up finishing The Night in the Moth while I was in France. So this is going to check off my physical TBR book, and I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. I really love the book. I do have a lot of critiques of the book and just things that I wasn't particularly like thrilled about, but overall it is just such a unique and atmospheric and really fun story that, just like her other books, in which I also had a lot of critiques about, I'm going to be thinking about it for a very long time. It's a book that I absolutely definitely recommend, and I am 100% really looking forward to the next book in the duology to close it out. I'm very much excited to read it. Some of the critiques I had though is that her worlds are very small, so it's very intimate. I wouldn't exactly call it cozy, but that's kind of what it is. But that leads itself to a lot of logistical issues that I personally have a lot of trouble looking past, such as the fact that it feels like there's only a couple hundred people in this story, but I'm consistently wondering like how there are so many orphans in this, you know, valley of villages, how there are so many knights that all have to be of noble birth, how absolutely nobody is questioning these really flawed systems, and that people are so willfully misunderstanding each other. So there's a lot of things that like I just can't look past when I'm reading through fantasy. There's a lot of trust in the magic systems, but even in this, even towards the beginning, I didn't really trust the magic system. In the beginning, I really like how Six, or Sybil, is kind of learning the world as we are. She's a very strong character, and I love that she's not afraid to be mean. I really, really enjoy her as a main character. Rory, in the beginning, I thought he was needlessly antagonistic. He did not have to make such a big show out of being so against the rituals and the gods. I mean, it made it very clear what his stance was, but it came across as very childish, to my opinion, and I did not enjoy that. I really liked their banter towards the beginning, how they definitely gave off, like, unwilling participants in a quest together kind of thing, which then formed into friendship, which then formed into their love story. So I really appreciate the path that their relationship took. I'm a little bit upset with how fast towards the end Rory was willing to give up his life for her and to basically like change all of his future plans for her. I have a few other qualms with the story, but overall, even though I have a lot of critiques, it is still rated so highly because it is such a unique story that I will be thinking about constantly. Like, I've thought about the One Dark Window duology like on and off since I read them. They're just so unique and so fun that they're stories that I will remember in great detail for many years. And then on Kindle, I picked up The Man Who Spoke Snakish, which is my Read the World Challenge Estonian read for the month. And this one is really difficult to get through. Yes, it is written as a fairy tale, and yes, it is a translated work, but that's not really the issue here. The issue here is that it's really weird, which is fine, but it's just weird in a way that's making me uncomfortable, and I don't like it. They're talking... The whole thing is about this boy who speaks Snakish, and it's basically a war between modernity and tradition, like, you know, the modernizing world versus folklore, and a lot of, like, you know, familial tradition. So it's a very interesting concept, but like his familial tradition that I'm learning in these first few chapters is really weird. There's a lot of people that speak Snakish, and they live in the forest, and they only eat meat, and they can communicate with animals using Snakish, and they're like the rulers of the world kind of thing. We're kind of bouncing between timelines of our guy in the modern day, and he's like telling us stories, and so we're also going back in time as to him growing up. And he's talking about how, you know, in the modern day, no animals respect Snakish anymore, and, you know, therefore the world is, you know, in its dark ages. And so he's like, yeah, I spoke Snakish to like this deer, and it like came over and understood his language and respected him, so it like came over and like bent its neck so it could be slaughtered for him, and because that's the way it should work in this world. And I'm like, what? So it's a lot of really odd, really odd things in this book, and I can't even describe the other ones. They all catch me so off guard so frequently that I'm like, oh my goodness. And this book is really long. It's like almost 600 pages of really weird stuff. So I've only made it like 3 or 4 chapters in, and I literally have to force myself. So I might get a little bit more of that reading in tonight, maybe. Just like I've been reading like a chapter and then doing something else, and then doing a chapter and then doing something else, because I can't sit there and binge it at all. It's just really weird. So I'm unfortunately in danger of DNFing this, purely because I don't like it. Not, you know, due to any bad things about the book itself, which you know is a raging success in Estonia, which makes me really sad that I don't like it. I do still have to read my Estonian videos though, so I'm hoping I'll get to those tomorrow. And then today, as I was unpacking, I started The Shadow Throne, which is the 3rd book in the Ascendant series. And as I was starting it, it was saying like, oh yes, the finale to the trilogy. And I'm like, wait a second, I know this is a 5-book series, so like what the heck happened? So I ended up starting to listen to it, and I packed, and I got about halfway through, and it jumped right out of the gate. It really much acted like the final book in a trilogy. It was the big war book. All the characters in the past 2 books have been coming back and returning and playing major parts. Our character was like at the highest stakes, like people were dying. It was very action heavy and it just like moved so fast, like even faster pace than the other 2. And so I was going through and I was like, I'm a little confused. Is this the end of a trilogy? I don't know. So then I finished unpacking and, you know, I ended up going to eat lunch and doing a bit more work, and I just like, I couldn't stop the book. So I ended up finishing The Shadow Throne all in one day, which isn't surprising because these books are incredibly fast paced and I get them and finish them within 24 hours anyway. And it tidied up really well at the end. I really enjoy how the book ended, and it gave us like a, you know, post-credit scene. This is what this person ended up doing with their life and what this person ended up doing with their life. So it was a very satisfactory ending. And in the end credits, it even said like that was the finale of our trilogy. And I'm like, I know there's 2 other books. So I guess she added to them later on. I will be continuing the series, but I think based on the reviews, people don't like these next 2 as much as the original trilogy. So I'm probably gonna read them anyway, and then I'll be able to give a recommendations whether to stop after the original trilogy or to continue reading. So I am happy to say that I have now also checked off the continuous series, which means I've officially checked off 2 of the 5. I'm working on the Read the World challenge. I really don't want it to be a DNF, but I feel like it might be, which means the last 2 categories are priority TBR and World Heritage Months, and I have 2 for World Heritage Months. And this is a problem, as I have with the last like 4 months. I have about a day or 2 left in my apartment, and there's no way I'm gonna finish 4 books in that time. So we're gonna do our best. I think I might put a pause on the priority TBR because I think I'm gonna have to do videos about reading just my priority TBR so I can catch back up. And I think I'm going to give The Man Who Spoke Snakish a bit more of a shot tonight, but I think I might risk it and start one of my identity recognition days. I looked into Love is a War Song, but it's not available on Libby. It might be on Kindle Unlimited, but I haven't checked yet because I can't take my Kindle off of airplane mode because The Man Who Spoke Snakish had holds on it, and so so Libby took it from me, but my Kindle's on airplane mode, so I still have it with me. So I can't take it off airplane mode, otherwise the library will suck it out of my Kindle. So unfortunately I can't add anything else to my Kindle right now, which means I still have my 3 physical TBR books that I could possibly get into right now. For my Indigenous read, I do really want to read Firekeeper's Daughter, but I don't know if I want to try to read this in 2 days. That's the thing. Whatever book I choose, I'm gonna feel like I'm doing a bit of disservice by trying to read it so fast. It is just under 500 pages with pretty small text, so I don't really like my chances in this book. And I think I really want to give it its due, so we'll see. Iron Widow is another one of my options for intersectionality, but I don't know if I'm really in the mood for a sci-fi, even though this probably would be the fastest out of all of them. Just under 400 pages, but I don't think I have, like, I'm very tired right now, and I'm not sure if I have the brain capacity for a sci-fi right now, and I also want to make sure I'm reading that in its good time. The problem with Ballad is that it's non-fiction, and I'm very much in a fiction mood right now, so I don't know if I'd be able, I fear that if I started this right now and try to read it within 2 pages, I might DNF it, and I really don't want that to happen with this book. So that's a problem. But I actually do have the 4th book. I put it to the side over there because I think mentally I picked it already, but I think I might start The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. It is a gigantic book. Let's see how many pages. Yeah, just under 500. I feel like my odds of finishing this are pretty low before I leave. But it is a fantasy, it is pirates, and I haven't read any pirate books yet this year. This one was for intersectionality. I feel like this is a good time for me to finally read this. This is my UK version that I got. It's very, very beautiful, and I've been wanting to read this book for a long time. So if I don't get super into it, I'll put a pause on it and get back to it at a different time, because if I'm not feeling it right now, it's because I'm tired from traveling, and I will get back to it. Okay, I really don't have the best news. Last night I read, I intended to read quite a lot of The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi, but I read exactly one chapter and I had to put the book down. The premise is really intriguing. This ex-pirate captain is now a single mother hidden away from the world, trying to survive her retirement, and this this old lady comes to try to hire her to help track down her kidnapped granddaughter. And it's basically a getting the band back together book in which they're supposed to go on another, you know, high seas, high stakes adventure to try to get the granddaughter back. It's written in a really, really cool way, in which like it's like her orally telling us the story. So it's written in like in a first person perspective, as she occasionally talks to the person that she's basically being interviewed by. So it's written in a very cool way, but I really, really struggle with how religious our main character and writer are. This is not an exaggeration, but at least once a page she's saying like praise be to God, or you know, God willing, or like thank you God, like at least once a page, and sometimes it's even 3 or 4 times a page. And as somebody who is very, 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 very not religious, it's deeply unsettling to read, and it just completely throws me out of the story every single time, and it's happening every single page. And I didn't know that her writing was going to be like that. And it's already just like an interesting thing that, you know, our Amina al-Sirafi is talking about all of the bad that she's done and all the people she's murdered, but then she's like, oh, thankfully this, you know, her daughter brings her tea, like what a blessing, like God bless her, or something like that. And I'm like, this is interesting, pretty canon, to be honest, but not how I like to read my books. So I'm just like repeatedly unsettled during this book. So yeah, anyway, after just one chapter, I was like, I can't do this right now. I had to put it down. And so I picked back up my Kindle to continue reading The Man Who Spoke Snakish, and it just so happened that the next chapter they started talking about how the villagers are super religious, and that our snake boy should become religious. And so it started talking a lot about religion, and I was like, you really? And I was like, you know what, I'm kind of done. So I ended up turning in for the night, and this morning I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give them both another try. I read another chapter of Amina al-Sirafi, and then it was just like continued with the God stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. So I put it back down, and then I think I read 2 more chapters of The Man Who Spoke Snakish, but it's just still a weird book. And so I'm running into a problem in that I can't like binge these. Like this one just is making me uncomfortable to read more than a chapter at a time. Like I can only take so much of the religious stuff. But it's a problem because the plot of both of these, honestly, are really intriguing to me, and I want to know the story. But this one is just it's getting me literally every single page, and the other one is just so much weirder than I was anticipating. So I'm running into a bit of a problem that it's now like the middle of the day, and I have not wanted to pick up either of these books. And so I fear that I am going to have to not finish them in this vlog, because I think I'm just gonna have to take it like one chapter at a time for both these books, until I either get through them or I just become so unsettled that I'm gonna have to DNF. So I don't think we're gonna finish either of these, which is fine. It's fine. I hate failing, but this reading blog is, you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I still haven't decided if I'm leaving for my last trip tomorrow or the next day, but either way, there's a 0% chance I'm finishing either of those 2 books. And I think what I'm going to do is, although I really wanted to read Firekeeper's Daughter this year, it was the one I was most excited for, I think what I'm going to do instead is start Black Salt Queen, which I already have on my Kindle, so that when I leave tomorrow, I can continue reading it on my trip, which means I'm not going to finish that one on the vlog either, but I will have at least started it, and once I've started books, I'll either slowly get through them or I'll finish them immediately. And so I think I'm going to do some more work today. I would love to continue to edit some YouTube videos. I've just been so busy the past month that I've actually missed a couple videos, but that's okay. I have a lot of photos I need to edit, so I think I am going to go back to work and try to read another chapter or 2 of The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi and The Man Who Spoke Snakish, and maybe even start Black Salt Queen tonight, and we're just gonna forget the priority TBR for now. I tried so hard to read more of my books last night, and it just like, it wasn't happening. I got like 4 pages more into The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi, and I just was not feeling it. I've tried picking it up twice today and also wasn't feeling it. I think because I'm getting stressed about leaving for my trip tomorrow. I did manage to check it out though over Libby Audio, so I think starting it over audio might help out more. I might even be able to finish it on my trip. That would be really nice, but otherwise I'm going to keep picking at it one by one. I also read like a chapter of The Man Who Spoke Snakish last night, and then like I just like couldn't bring myself to read a second chapter, and at that point I was just so drained that I haven't even started Black Salt Queen yet. I've got a lot of editing that I need to do right now, and I still haven't packed, so we'll see how I feel in a couple of hours when I go to bed, and if I can at least get a little bit of a chunk out of all 3 of them. That'd be really nice.